a boat that can't stay afloat.
Okay, so let's start off with an update that I did to him. I want to show you guys. So I thought the wheelhouse was a little high. So what I did was I marked it off and I took off 1/2 inch all the way around. Because when you look at his picture, the post at the bow is almost up to the halfway point. Almost, not quite. So I think it looks a little bit better. It doesn't look as tall because other than that it would have been that high. So I think that looks a little bit better. And now what I think we're going to do, again, there's not a lot of deck showing on this guy. So the forecastle, there's really nothing there. And it's funny because the color they chose for the deck is actually pink. So we're going to make them screen accurate. So we got the forecastle. There's not a lot on either side of the wheelhouse. And going all the way to the deckhouse, there's really not a lot of the deck showing in the back. So I want to do the same thing. I want to mark it off. So we're going to follow the same. Let's center. We'll center this and we'll bring it right about like this. We got to keep it square. And it's going to come all the way aft to just about there. Because there's not a lot of the poop deck showing either. So now what we got to think of doing is we're going to make the structure. We're going to, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to put the tabs on, and then we're going to glue it into place. But I think what I want to do now is we're going to actually do his rear boathouse. So I was thinking it's going to be right about halfway. So it's going to be right about here. It's going to be almost the same height as the post in the front. So we're going to do halfway. And as for the width, I think we can use the deck. So what we're going to do, again, I'm going to make a support. And this is the reason why we're keeping all the scraps. That might be just good enough. So we don't need a lot. I just want to make a support that's going to go on the back. So this is going to be just about halfway up. And we'll put it here to support. That way there it'll have something to rest on. So I'm going to put it right about there. It's nice because the corrugations are nice straight lines. So right about there. Because remember, it's going to come up slightly. It's going to raise up slightly when we put the rested on. So that's good. So I'm going to put another one. And I want the straight side on the top. Yeah, so we have that ledge, and what I want to do is we're going to rest the roof right up against it. So I want to make sure it's absolutely flat. So this is going to be glued like this. I'm going to make sure it's straight. And we're going to go back, and then there's going to be a bend. Alright, so it's going to go all the way back there, so we're going to fold it down on the line. And I want to make sure it's right up against the back. And we're going to put a little reinforcing bead on it anyway, but I just want to make sure it's going to be straight. Here we are. See how it's flush with the edges, and we're going to put a bead later on to reinforce it. Alright, let me show you guys what it's going to look like. Now let's bring them back. So now, right all the way to the back, you can see how we have the structure now. Yeah. So we're going to let this cool and solidify. This is going to come right here. It looks pretty good. And we're going to run a bead, and then we'll even it out. But that looks pretty good. And then when we close it, we'll be able to, again, we'll be able to shave it down and even out everything. Alright, I want to do the same thing for the other side now. Yeah. Now we can do the same thing. We're going to put it nice and flush. Just like that. That'll be perfect. There. See how it's nice and flush? And when we bring in the back wall, we'll be able to put it in just like that, and then we'll be able to trim it all down. So when it comes to the back wall, I think we'll do it this way first. Here, see how we kind of brought out the walls? So I think what we can do, we can trim down the extra. There. What we'll do is we'll even everything out. See how that looks pretty good? So, I think what we can do now is we can start to think about doing all the little beads. And we're going to do the trimming and bring everything down and make the corners nice and sharp. That way there we'll have something to slice down and even out, and we won't have to worry about cutting away the important sections. We're going to do the same thing for the inside now. We're going to go all the way down. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing for this side now. See, what this is going to do is it's going to put a little extra reinforcing bead. And then we can just kind of, while we're waiting for all this to solidify, maybe we can go ahead and start to think about his eyes. So, the plan is we're going to do one level, and then we're going to do the frames, so the window frames, and we're going to put that on for another level, and then we're going to do the little windshield wipers as another level. So we're going to have 3 levels on. So let's decide on a shape. So we're going to do the frame on the inside. So we're going to do the squares for his eyes, and this is going to be the backing. And that's going to be glued directly over that. So we're going to put the little square in there. And then the outer part's going to be white. And all we got to do now is do the little windshield wipers. And this is going to go right on his front. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Okay, so this is going to be glued on, just like that. And everything is going to be painted white, and then we're going to paint his pupils in. Alright, so let's... Yeah. And this is going to go right here, just like that. And then we're going to put his mouth on the bottom. And we can't forget about his windshield wipers. Windshield wipers, I'm going to go right here. Just like that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Well, let's clean it up now. Alright, so it's looking pretty good. We smoothed out the edges by the bow. And maybe we can put a little bit just to kind of even out all the stuff at the bottom. I want to come as close to the top as possible. And then when we push it down, it's going to make a nice flush contact. Okay, so we put all the tabs, and I'm going to let it solidify. We're going to put it in front of the fan to let the glue harden. See how nice and smooth that is now? We closed in the hole. And let's see, maybe just the edge. Yeah. And that's all set. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put the boat houses on, and then we're going to seal the deck with the glue. We're going to do it quickly because the glue is hot, but it's not going to take long to cool off, especially with the fan and this weather. Alright, so let's put this down right about here. Looks pretty good. I'll hold it for a couple more minutes just to make sure he's solid. And what it's going to do is it's going to smooth out the deck. So as the glue settles down, it'll smooth out, and we're going to be able to, it's going to make everything nice and glassy smooth. Again, I don't want to go too far ahead because when it cools off, it doesn't quite do the same kind of job. So again, we're going to let it all smooth out. So what I want to do is I'm going to start rolling up this piece of cardboard. So that thickness looks pretty good. So what this is going to do is we'll be able to shave it down, and this will even off the smokestack. Let's see if it's actually going to stay like that. That's good. So this is starting to solidify, and we're going to think about now, there's an angle that the smokestack has. And it goes back ever so slightly. So, right about there. That looks pretty good. See how it's going to be all nice and smooth now? This is what I had wanted to do. Yeah, see how we kind of smooth that out? I'm going to do the same thing now for the funnel. Let's use this one. Yeah. See how that's nice and all trimmed out? When we paint it, it's going to paint up nicely. So we're going to have to make sure we got it the way that I want and that the smokestack is right in the middle. So we're going to do some, I'm going to put it down the middle just so it can come back up. Alright, and the seam is going to go facing the back, so it's going to go right about. So, again, we don't have, it's just loosely, the windshield wipers. Just kind of hold it in place as the mouth as well. We're going to position it better after we paint. But right now, what I'm going to do is we're going to clean them all up. And we're going to get them ready to paint. So, the way he looks, the smokestack is going to be completely black. But there are two stripes. Let me show you. There are two stripes that are going to be at the top third of the smokestack. And that's what we're going to do for his smokestack. Coming on to the back, the deck houses are white. There's really nothing on them. Coming around the front, he's going to have his square pupils. And again, after it's painted, then we'll paint the windshield wipers white, and then we'll position them so that it looks like he has a little gleam in his eye, and he's got his little smile. So the way he looks right now is pretty much all these structures are done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to clean them up, and then we're going to paint them. I'm wondering about what paint to use. I don't know if I'm going to use craft paint. I was thinking about using the latex sealing paint to make them look really white, but we'll see. I'll think about it. So my friends, I hope you're enjoying this little build, because this is basically, he's done. This is all we're going to build. We have his smokestack, his boathouse in the back, we got the wheelhouse in the front, we got his little hull all finished, and this little guy is pretty heavy. He's pretty solid too. We had put a lot of glue, and the cardboard boxes that we used, the Christmas light boxes, are pretty rugged as well. The only thing that we didn't use from the Christmas boxes was the smokestack, because we had used up all the cardboard, and this is actually the Fan Home Enterprise box that I had used a piece of. Well, my friends, I hope you're enjoying the build, and he's getting ready for Santa to come and get him. In the next video, we're actually going to paint him up. So my friends, until the next video, take care, thank you for watching, and Merry Christmas.